Good morning, students. In the last 7 sessions, we have understood the fundamental unit of life, that is cell, its structure, structural organization, what are various roles of different organelles in the cell, and cell division also. And we have understood that cell division leads to the formation of many daughter cells. In the case of unicellular organisms, cell division leads to the formation of new organisms, since single cell itself is the complete organism. In the case of multicellular organisms, cell division helps to grow the body, to repair the damaged or old tissues, and to make or to form the gametes. So here let us learn what will happen after many cells are formed in multicellular organisms. Are they going to be present in separate many number of cells, or are they going to just carry out any other thing? Are they going to assume into any other thing? All such things let us discuss here. In unicellular organisms, single cell itself is the whole body. In multicellular organisms, many cells, maybe millions of cells, make up the whole body. And among these millions of cells, all cells do not perform all functions in common. Each cell is specialized to carry out one specific function, or each specialized function is carried out by a specific group of many cells. Each specialized function is carried out by a specific group of many cells. As a very specific function is carried out by one specific group of cells, as a very specific function is carried out by one specific group of cells, the function is performed very efficiently, or the output of the function is going to come very effectively. Example, muscular cells, they perform only movement. Nervous cells, they keep transferring the messages from the environment to the nervous system, and from nervous system to motor organs, by which we can execute the movements. And blood cells, they transport various materials like respiratory gases, the final digested end products from the alimentary canal to various cells of our total body, and excretory products from all cells of the body to excretory system. Like different groups of cells are performing different functions here in the case of animals. And in the case of plants, the cells of vascular tissues are the transporting tissues. They carry out the transport of food and water. In the plants, the cells of vascular tissues, they carry out the transport of food and water. What is a tissue? A tissue is the group of cells. Simply to define, it is a group of cells. And a very specific tissue is going to be present at a specific location in the body. Okay? And these will not keep changing. These groups of cells or these tissues do not keep changing their locations. They are going to be present at a specialized location or place. And a very group of cells or a very tissue is specialized in only one function. A very tissue is specialized in only one function. So what is tissue? The group of cells that are specialized in one function. The group of cells, what type of cells that these are? These are specialized in one function, and this group is present at a definite place. The group of cells that are specialized in one function and located at a definite place in the body is called tissue. Example, muscular tissue, nervous tissue, vascular tissues in plants, etc. And the cells of a tissue, cells of one tissue or a tissue are generally similar in structure because all cells together perform same function. So all cells should be in the same structure because form correlates with function, which we have learnt in our fundamental unit of life. Different types of cells are going to have different structures because they perform different functions. But all cells of one tissue, they are similar in structure because all cells of the tissue are going to perform same function. So they must be in similar structure. So the cells of a tissue are similar in structure and they work together. Only thing is they work together to achieve the specific designated, means assigned. This tissue has to perform this function only. Like that, every tissue is assigned with or designated with a particular function. Okay. So the cells of a tissue are similar in structure and work together to achieve their specific designated function efficiently or effectively. Okay. Now, we already are discussing or giving examples for the tissues like animal tissues and plant tissues instead of simply giving the tissues of all living organisms. That means the tissues of plants and animals are different from one to each other because the plants they grow differently, animals they grow differently. Plants are having different living modes and animals are having different living modes. Plants do not move from one place to other place, whereas animals do keep moving from one place to other place. So the type of their living is enabled by the type of tissues that are present in their respective bodies. So what are the structural and functional differences between the plant and animal tissues? If you look at the plant tissues and animal tissues, plants are generally stationary or fixed in living. They do not move from one place to other place. Whereas animals will keep moving from one place to other place. Animals are motile. Why animals keep moving from one place to other place? In search of their food. Mate means partner. If a female animal is there for male animal, if a male animal is there for female animal, and for shelter. In order to take rest, in order to have rest, they need shelter. So animals keep moving for the search of food, mate and shelter. Whereas plants do not move like that. They are fixed. They are stationary. Wherever they get germinated, they keep growing there only until unless they are being taken up by some animal from one place to other place. Okay. So as the plants are stationary, they keep getting exposed to various environmental pressures. So they need more support in order to stay stationary. In order to stay in a stationary manner or in a fixed manner, they need more support because as anything it is placed at one place in common outside in open, it will keep getting exposed to several environmental pressures. In order to be protected, in order to be withstood with all such environmental pressures, it needs a great support. So most of the plant tissues are supportive tissues, which will make or keep the plant upright in a stationary condition. But if these many tissues which are supportive in nature, if they are alive, then plant need more energy. All these supportive cells or supportive tissues, okay, if they are alive, means they are living in nature, then they need or they consume more energy. But unfortunately, plants are autotrophic, which prepare the food on their own, okay, by photosynthetic process, and which prepare other materials also by absorbing the mineral nutrients from the soil, okay. So with all these things, maintaining a high amount of energy levels to provide energy, if the cells, supportive cells are in living state, it is difficult. So most of the supportive tissues of the plant, they are dead only. Dead cells, they can provide support without consuming energy, whereas the animal body, being motile in nature, and they are able to capture or they are able to obtain the food whatever they want in enough quantity. So they are having most of the cells, living cells, and among these living cells, these cells and tissues, they are not meant much for supportive purposes because they are motile. If they are finding some problem in one place, they will move from that place to other place. So they don't need more support from within the body. They will go to some abiotic area, okay, where they can get the protection. So they don't need more supportive tissues, and remaining tissues, whatever the tissues that are there in the animal body, they are living in state only, and these living cells, they consume more energy. But how these energy demands are fulfilled? Since animals are able to move from one place to another place, they will get that food very easily. And pattern of growth in plants. The pattern of growth, it is limited to only certain regions. The growth in plants is limited only to certain regions. Okay. And what are those regions? While discussing about the plant tissues, we will discuss. Okay. Whereas in animals, the growth is not limited to any specific regions. So in animals, throughout the body, growth will be taking place. Throughout the body, growth will be taking place. So here in the case of plants, the growth is not uniform. Throughout the plant body, growth is not taking place. Only in certain regions, growth is taking place. Okay, the growth is not uniform. The pattern of growth is not uniform in the case of plant body. Whereas in the case of animal body, the pattern of growth is uniform. Since growth is not limited to any specific regions. If a question has been asked to you, why the pattern of growth is not uniform in the case of plants, whereas it is uniform in the case of animals? Because the growth is not limited to any specific regions in the case of animals. So growth is uniform. The pattern of growth is uniform. Whereas growth is limited only to specific regions in plants. So the pattern of growth is not uniform in the case of plants. Since the pattern of growth is not uniform in the same plant body, at some regions you can find dividing tissues, and at some regions you can find non-dividing tissues. Scientifically, the dividing tissues are called meristematic tissues, and the non-dividing tissues are called permanent tissues. Since the pattern of growth is not uniform, in the plant body, there is a demarcation of permanent tissues and meristematic tissues, or non-dividing tissues and dividing tissues. Wherever the growth is taking place, there the meristematic or dividing tissues are present. Wherever the growth is not occurring, there the permanent tissues or non-dividing tissues are present. Whereas in the case of animals, the pattern of growth is uniform, so there is no such demarcation. So what will happen? There is no differentiation like dividing tissues or non-dividing tissues. In plant body, the growth takes place throughout the life. That is indefinite growth. There is no end to the growth of the plant body. Until the plant is alive, and in the specific regions of growth will keep taking place. Whereas in animals, the growth is definite. Definite means until the animal body gets maturity. Until the animal body grows to a particular size, the growth takes place in all parts of the animal body. After which growth doesn't occur, but only for the case, in the case of any damage that takes place to the body, for the repair purpose, cell division occur in the animal body. So growth is indefinite in the case of plant body, whereas it is only definite up to a particular maturity period. The growth takes place in the animal tissues. And coming to complexity of structural organization. If you take the same sized animal body and plant body, the complexity of structural organization of plant body is far lesser than the complexity of structural organization in animal body. In plant body, the complexity of structural organization is far lesser than the complexity of structural organization of animal body. This complexity of structural organization, it decides different living modes of these organisms. So plant living modes are different than animal living modes, which is decided by the complexity of structural organization. In the case of animal body, there are various tissues, various organ systems, and there is a lot of differentiation in the case of tissues, whereas such differentiation, large differentiation, is not seen in the complexity of structural organization in plant body. So the mode of living is very simple in the case of plant body. Most of the plants are normal photosynthetic autotrophs only, whereas even though all animals are heterotrophs, in the heterotrophic mode also they observe different modes of heterotrophic nutrition. This is just because of the higher complexity of their structural organization.